So
Let me see.
we'll move along. You can keep tapping and copying and pasting. But they were really interesting for me to read because what you're doing is you're verifying things that we see even in the high school, in the senior phase, year 11 and year 12, similar issues. And when you go out there and you're assessment literate, which is what this unit's about, you have a lot to offer departments because not everyone is assessment literate. It's a unique form of literacy that takes a while to master. And having those conversations with your colleagues is going to be very important when you get out there because there's a good chance you will have a lot to give having done this particular unit. So, just some general questions now. Feel free, let's have a conversation. Who works closely with assessment on prac? It sounds like based on that, yeah. And that's not often the case. I suppose it was the location of your prac as well that enabled you to really be heavily involved in that space.
Pretty much on the assessment time with most schools, so there was.
And it's really actually hard to get into teacher lessons because everything had to be then based around that assessment piece, or you had to then like do some random offshoot class.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was just all assessment.
So was that frustrating or was it?
Because the kid.
I felt like I didn't have an opportunity
To
observe any actual content teaching or to have a go of it myself. I was just facilitating assessment work, so that was really hard.
Did that not
I
go?
feel a lot more confident with regards to helping students draft, marking drafts, marking assessment, which is something that, like, obviously I have no experience in at all. And even though I'm still like, oh, I really hope our next prac actually shows us some content teaching.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy I got that.
Do you feel that you were given work to do to make life easier for the teacher, or do you think it was?
My teacher fully took advantage of me. And yeah, that was very clear. But made out like it was benefiting me. I think it did by the end of it. But I was an assistant.
I found mine advantageous because of the fact that my teacher was really getting me to be part of the process of helping change the assessment piece, because the assessment piece previous years hadn't been as successful, and so she got me to help out with creating an assignment checklist and actually building up some new resources for the school. And so now that all the teachers, as soon as they saw the assignment checklist, ended up stealing my assignment checklist, which is kind of annoying. They could steal it. Yeah, they stole my lesson plans too.
And my PowerPoints, they took and they're like,
Me too. Yeah, I did my PowerPoint.
Yeah, they're using all my text deconstruction.
That was like collecting resources.
Yeah, they stole my Batman one. Because I'm doing Gothic literature, so I used Batman as an example and taught kids how to break down Batman novels and like how to use imagery and descriptions, because they were doing a whole assessment piece on imagery in Gothic literature. And all these teachers went, oh, that's a great idea. And they ended up taking my PowerPoint. I walked around the school and handed everybody with Batman.
No, I've fully stolen all of the resources they gave me, so I'm like,
Yeah.
quid pro quo.
Teachers are kleptomaniacs. We know that. We grab everything and we don't throw away anything. So, was there any assessment that didn't look like quality assessment based on some of your posts on Edmodo? That has already been the case. Anyone want to share in particular?
I've got one. It wasn't English though.
That's all right.
But it was this history assignment they were doing, and like when I was helping them through the process before we got to the actual marking bit, like it seemed alright, like it was way too complicated I thought, but the teacher sort of acknowledged that and everything. But then when I got to the marking and I got a hold of the rubric and looked at it, I was like, this isn't what they've been writing the whole time. Like every single thing that we were marking them on was either like basically one question in this workbook they had to complete, and if they'd missed the question it was very difficult to find it in their essay, and what they were talking about in the essay wasn't really on the criteria sheet at all.
And in terms then of the principles of quality assessment, which we're learning about, where is that issue? Where is that in terms of, is it equity, validity, or accessibility? It's validity, it's construct and content validity.
And you could tell that like a lot of the teachers weren't happy with it, because I kept on like, they cut themselves off before they talked about, I assume, the person who had created this task sheet.
So
I
it
was
wasn't
like,
fit for
oh,
purpose. And that's
some tension
actually,
going on.
that's really easy to do.
Yeah.
It's really easy to design an assessment that does not do what it's meant to do. Takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. I would never write an assessment one day and hand it out that day. I would always write it, put it away, come back to it, look at it, critique it, put it away, and then have another look at it. Always, because your brain only sees what it wants to see after a while.
At the school I was at, my supervisor teacher wrote a piece of assessment and then put it away for a couple of days and then got one of her colleagues to come over and read through it, and then they changed it together, put it away for a couple more days, and then they came back together and changed it a bit more, and they handed it out the next day.
You're very fortunate to see that in practice.
Yeah.
That's excellent moderation.
Mm.
Did they have a checklist, the QCAA checklist that they were using?
No.
Yeah.
But they, like, in the couple of days that they put it away, they both like researched the stuff that was meant to be in there, and then I came back and
Nice.
sort of fixed stuff a bit. Yeah.
Yes.
I think the most difficult thing I found was that I had looked at the subjects that are coming up later, like the English classes in year 8 and 9 compared to the year 7s I was working with, and they did an intervention in year 7 that was by putting a different point of view from a different character from the third person point of view. Then they have an intervention in grade 9, which is insert a whole chapter into it.
So
And
they're
it seems like
building.
the grade 7 one was a lot harder than the grade 9 one. And in the way it was written, and the way and the theme of this whole story too was extremely dark for any student. Like it's a story called A Monster Calls, and it's all about a kid going through troubles at school and getting bullied, and he actually starts to like getting bullied, and then his mum's passing away from cancer and all this other stuff, and like really emotional stuff. And some of these kids just could not grasp the emotional side, and the kids who did, the stuff they were writing was way dark. Like
So perhaps that wasn't really fit for purpose either.
Yeah, I was just a bit like some of the kids wrote some really graphic stuff.
And I think you need to be mindful of that they're important conversations to have in terms of that relationship between each year level as you're going through, because I too have worked at a school where year 9 was easier than year 8. Like in year 8 they were doing exam essays and they were capable of doing it and should be doing them. In year 9 they went to paragraphs, analytical paragraphs. I was like, and I had to just swallow it because not the department at the time.
I don't know how often this happens, but something that happened at my school was that the assessment date was pushed forward by a week. So then all the scaffolding, they never kind of completed it. So they went into this test. It was like a preparation test, so they have a lesson to prepare for a test, but there was no scaffolding. Some students just fell asleep and they didn't do anything. And then some students would do it, but it would just.
See, that's giving up, isn't it?
Yeah. So there was there was nothing there for them to work with, so they just didn't complete it.
So which principle is that not adhering to? Equity. Yeah, those students were disadvantaged.
Yeah.
Only the really smartest kids
Would
would be able to do well.
Have you got any idea why they pushed it?
I have no clue, but the English teachers in that class are obviously stressing it, so then that probably went onto the students as well, that stress. So
It might have been some sort of logistical thing, but either way, it's not good practice.
We had the issue of QCS being right in the middle of it too. So we had kids half the class, half our teachers had to go and disappear into QCS practice.
Yeah. Who feels confident about their ability to write quality assessment and work with the standards, elaborations and contextualise them for each task? Thumbs up, thumbs midway, thumbs down. Yeah, so look at that. So lots of thumbs down actually. Confident, yep, okay. And that's why we're doing this assignment, because you're going to be ready. Practice makes perfect, but you will get there.